could never have dreamt it to have gone the way it did in the end. That's what I'm saying. We were so confident that I could look at other players and you just knew everything was off the cuff, and it was just everything was flowing. Someone I knew was there, and they were like, "What the hell are you doing here?" I was like, "What is it? What is this? Is this where we train?" It's been some journey. I say it's 9 years of my life that I'll never forget, with moments that as a player you can only dream of.
Well, Pottsy, thanks so much for inviting us over to this beautiful park to talk about your time at Luton Town, mate. What a journey it's been for you.
Yeah, you could say that. Hell of a journey. 9 years. I say when I first joined, could never have dreamt it to have gone the way it did in the end. Say 3 promotions and 9 years at one club. Met some amazing people as well. Exceeded probably all expectations, really. Something I cherish, for the rest of my life.
When you first joined, I watched back your first interview yesterday.
Yeah.
Looking a lot younger with the quiff, yeah. But in that interview, you said, "I'm here for success. I want promotions." And
I think sort of looking back then, you sort of joined. I think I was 20 at the time. You join, you're young, you're naive, and you think, sort of coming from like a Premier League team, or as a youngster coming in and joining, you think, I'm dropping down the levels, and you're an automatic. You're just a little bit naive with it, and think that's what you want, and that's what you sort of not deserve, but that's what you really want to strive for. And I think sort of looking back then, that would have been on the forefront of my mind. Did I think it was going to go probably as well as it has? Probably not. But I knew I was coming to a team when I met, obviously, John Steele at the time. I knew it was a team that was going to be pushing for sure. I knew the aspirations were there. And I say it just fell into place pretty quickly from that respect. So but the interview I've had a bit of stick. I've had a bit of stick since. But yeah, no, it was an eye-opener watching that back.
What was it like with Stilly? Because we caught up with him a few weeks back, and he talks about his time at the club, but he's just a brilliant man, isn't he?
Yeah, really good guy. Like you say, sort of a father figure really to a lot of pros, especially those at Luton. And even all his background done. I remember Terry Harris speaking to him, and just good characters, and something you sort of, as a youngster, I don't think you're exposed to them sort of characters as much growing up in the game. To go there and to meet John and to meet Terry, they were really like down to earth people. But when it comes to on the pitch and crunch time, it was just like a good experience to work under him. And like you say, he's a legend of the club.
Yeah, 100%. And you've been from that age where you joined and you experienced the old training ground, didn't you, Ely Way?
Yeah, that way,
It's just mad. From a club's perspective, you see how, where we got to with the break. But what was, for those that don't know, Ely Way, what was it like?
Yeah, it was authentic. It was, I say it was just a bit like this, really. A bit of a
dogs running around.
I
think there was.
Yeah, dogs running around.
Yeah,
say we do 11v11 tactical, and then you have a few dog walkers walking past. I say not sure if they were scouts, but you could easily. But yeah, no, it was. I remember turning up first day, and I think obviously Pell was there. I think Ollie. I don't know if Ollie Lee was or someone I knew was there, and they were like, "What the hell are you doing here?" I was like, "What is it? What is this? Is this where we train?" But I say, listen, the electric showers, the porta cabins, everything like that, it was just, you buy into it straight away, because it was such a good group as well at the time. And as a youngster coming in, that's what you're sort of looking for. You're looking for the sort of the older senior pros, sort of just not guiding the way, but you sort of buy into their values, and that's sort of, I think that's a key thing now. So it was so easy to listen. As you got a pitch and and a few footballs back then, it was good enough, and we just wanted to go out and play on a Saturday, Tuesday night, and win games of football. And we started doing that, and it progressed nicely.
You got your first goal in the playoff. Was it playoffs or was it against Colchester? You scored in the playoffs.
Yeah, scored in the playoffs against Blackpool. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about
that was a crazy game. Yeah.
I'll say let's talk about that Blackpool game, because you in the first leg, head injury was it?
I split my eye.
That was it. Yeah.
Split my eye. I still have chip with it now. I split that in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I can't remember that guy's name. Come up, bang, elbow, and straight away, shirt change, bit of blood.
Yeah.
And then
shirt with no number on.
Yeah, shirt with no number on.
That,
I think we went 1-0 down early, and then we managed to pull it back. I scored, and I think Isaac Vassell scored straight away. We scored 2 goals. We were 2-1 up, obviously, and then I think it ended 3-2 to Blackpool. But we knew we sort of had the second leg back at home, and I think looking back at that game there, especially the second leg, like the disappointment, because there was sort of an expectation to get promoted that year under Nathan. I think going into the following season, we knew that just give us a little extra bit of fire to go and do it, and I say we couldn't have started the league any better the following season, and obviously we went on to get promoted, and it just snowballed from there really.
What is it about that second leg you remember most?
I just remember feeling it was such a big game, but I can't remember feeling that confident on the pitch. I think first half, I think we just looked around at each other, and I think we took the lead, didn't we?
I think we won 1-0 down on the night.
Yeah.
From a counter, and then
that was it. We went 1-0 down early, but that didn't really stop us.
Yeah.
And then I think the rest of the first half, we were I thought we played unbelievable, some of the best football we played all year. And then obviously Hilt scored the penalty.
Yeah.
Idiot tried dinking the pen, but that's what I'm saying. We were so confident that I could look at other players and you just knew everything was off the cuff, and everything was flowing. And then to concede like we did with the corner, it was just like wow. It was like a real sucker punch. There was times in that game that I thought, we're going to Wembley here.
Yeah.
Not being like overconfident, but we were playing so well. The crowd was up, and everything was sort of going our way whilst we were doing the right things. And then the sucker punch at the end, it was just proper deflation. And then I don't know, you look at things like that and you sort of zoom out and you think, it was a bad thing, but I think we turned it into a positive the next year, especially Nathan did anyway.
So just touching on what you said then, how the playoff defeat kind of happened for a reason. It spurred you guys on to go the next season again, and under Nathan Jones, I think Hiltz has said it, we were probably the best team in the league that year, but we didn't win the league.
Yeah, it was. I think I look back and I don't really take spite and like not winning the league. I think we knew we were the best team. But fair play to Accrington, they matched us. Fortunately, 2 teams get promoted.
Yeah.
But I think we knew straight away. I think like even the first game of the season, I think we put 8 past Yeovil, and it was like, right, okay, this is going to be like some season. Again, without being too overconfident, but we just knew there was enough in the change room to really push on that year, and that's my dogs. There's my little dogs.
Hello.
There was enough to definitely get us promoted and sort of go again the following year.
How much confidence do you take, you and the team, when you, like you say, we put 8 past Yeovil in that season as well, 7 past Stevenage, 7 past Cambridge, and 5 past Swindon on Boxing Day? And
I think that's such a massive thing. It's sort of one of the rest of it. We just had goals in the team, and we were such a forward. Everything was such like forward motion, like pressing, playing forward, running forward. We weren't really shutting up shop too many times, and you just get confidence with that. I spoke to Mick recently, and we've always sort of said over the years you can never have enough strikers in the squad, and we were so lucky to have sort of the forward players we did. All the players we had really were top for that level, and it proved that year really. We just sort of left most teams in the dust.
Nathan Jones, obviously, he was a big part of your career at Luton as well, being there, getting us to, well, halfway to the Championship, and Mick taking on the rest of the season. What was that season like? Because that Portsmouth game, I think some of the best football Luton fans say they've seen in that first half, and Mick just got us over the line that year, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, that season was, because we didn't start off very well. We think, looking back though, when you look at that season, we probably played 3 of the top teams in the league, first three games, and it was a bit of a finding our feet. Although first game away at Portsmouth, we lost the game, but we played really well, so we took a bit of confidence from that. And then Sunderland, we managed to get a draw. We knew they were a top team, but then we adjusted a few things and sort of still had Nathan's, obviously, just so much belief as well that he just sort of instilled in that squad. I mean, I've spoke about that to a lot of people. The way he sort of exudes his belief onto the players, and then it's not in an arrogant way. It's more of just you going out onto the pitch, believing you can win the game. And I mean, we might not be the best team or the better players, on paper, but you go in there with a mindset of we're here to win this game, and that's one of his key skills. And I think that worked, but sort of blended so well with the squad we had as well, because we just needed that little bit of belief, and then all of a sudden it was like, whoa, this is a real team. But then obviously that year we started off sort of maybe slow as such, and then progressed through, and then obviously Nathan was getting a bit of recognition then, and obviously no one we didn't obviously expect it, because we knew we were in a rhythm. We thought we had a real shot at doing it, but at the time we weren't up there. We were mid-table-ish, and the opportunity come for him to go to Stoke, and he's such an honest guy. He spoke to the players and said, look, that's on the table, and that was it. And then it was like, right, okay, the players, especially the senior boys at the time, sort of took it upon themselves to really try and keep the group together, and not we didn't really want it to sort of derail our season as such, because it easily can. You lose a manager like Nath, and there wasn't too many other candidates at the time. I don't think that to step in, and it would have been a tough job. It would have been an easy job, because the lads run the change room and everything sort of. We were in such a rhythm, and luckily that's what Mick did, and he'd come in at, I think, probably one of the toughest games of the season, Sunderland away.
Well, and they were just behind us as well, weren't they?
They were just behind us.
Luton just lost their manager.
You don't get, at that time in that league, you don't get many tougher away games than that. I just remember that as well, that view, like when we warmed up and then we come off, and then you had the away fans at the top, and they were like, it was spine tingling. That there like a few moments there that sort of stay with me. And then, like you mentioned already, we moved on to it just sort of kicked in. The week to week stuff and training didn't really change. There was a sort of blueprint for it there, and Mick, with all of his experience, just sort of guided everyone, and it was honestly 6 months of just pure joy. Obviously the unbeaten run started, and the change room was alight, and everyone was just pulling in the right direction, and you couldn't really write what happened after that. It was it was perfect, really. It was perfect. It really was, and like fair play to Mick and everything. He's obviously a legend at the club, and that's obviously made him even more of a legend. But then to obviously go and win the league, like say last year we come second, to win it, it was brilliant, and obviously to do it with the lads we had was unreal.
This area, lovely. I know you're just telling us. This is where it all started for you.
Yeah, as like sort of a young kid, I think, like 5, 6, 7. It's just like the Sunday league sort of thing, and come over and sort of introduce yourself to the sort of game of football with other players and that. But yeah, this was sort of where we'd come on a Saturday and morning, maybe hopefully a few games on the Sunday, and just I say a few huts and actually come over and kick a ball against the wall. But yeah, no, this is where it all sort of started, the football side of things, and then obviously as you progress now, like 7, 8, there's scouts watching, and it's like, and then sort of joined West Ham when I was 9, and that's where it all sort of kicked on.
And obviously, with the time at the club, you've played with a lot of people at Luton Town, and you touched on earlier about having a good group, but it seems like most seasons we've always had a good group. Yeah,
sort of surprises me really. I've had 9 seasons. It's hard to pinpoint like one of the best groups, but it's also even harder to think we had a bad group, and they were so few and far between. It was just non-existent at the club, and obviously I keep in touch with a lot of the players that have left, and they all sort of say the same things. It's just not quite the same. Like, it's not like Luton. Like the stories of lads just sort of in different groups congregating. Obviously everyone has closer friends within the squad, but as sort of a tight knit, everyone involved and everyone sort of knows about each other. The sort of banter's flying, winning games of football. Obviously that helps. But then on the flip side, when it doesn't go as well, you know what I mean, that's what you need. You need to pull together. And so blessed and lucky to have met so many top pros. I mean, I've just been away and saw Jack Stacey and saw James Justin, speak to them like as if it was yesterday. But with so many good friends I've met that I keep in touch now probably for the rest of my life.
And then you've got the likes of Pelly, Bez, Shazy that you know you've grown with the club with them, and what is that like, just growing with a set of players that just all want to be?
It's quite funny really, because I think when we first joined we were like part of like the younger group. Yeah. And as the years have gone on, like you do like rondos and that, and you know, like the day before a game, it's all right, oldest 2 in the box. It's like you look around, you're like, oh, I'm one of the oldest ones here. But it just sort of happened so quick. But obviously I knew Pell before I joined Luton, so I've known him for even longer. We were together at 16 coming through. And then you say Bez, Shazy, when we joined we were sort of younger players as such, but I think it's good in a way that we've been at the club for so long, and then you become a sort of senior player within the group. It just helps keep that sort of, I don't know, like groundness to it. And obviously the way the club's gone up the league is hard. Would have been easy to get carried away, and you got lads coming in like just sort of quickly and sort of not teach them the ways, but sort of show them like this is what we do here, and this is what's got us to this point. That works both ways.
When you look back at all the years from when you first joined to now, if you could go back to that first interview and give young Dan Potts a piece of advice for the next 8-9 years you've been at the club, what would that be?
I'd say there's going to be hard times, there's going to be great times, but I'd say just keep level-headed with it all. Don't get too carried away when it goes really well, and don't get too down when it goes not too well. Apply yourself the right way, which I've always tried to do. Respect each other, just, you know what I mean, the group, and just enjoy it. Obviously it was lucky for us to enjoy it because we were winning games, getting promoted, but that sort of buy-in and that application, that it's no, like, so it's cliche, you get what you put in, you get out of it what you put in, but I do believe in that. And yeah, I think the main thing really is it's going to go quick. I look at it now, I'm like, wow, like, it's been amazing, but it's gone so quick, and you have got to enjoy it along the way. And we were fortunate enough to have some really, really great times, successful times, and they're so easy to enjoy.
Some other, well, you say great times and low times, but staying up in the Championship in that first season, I think you were out injured most of the season and come back for the last...
I mean, I played a fair few games that year, and then I had an issue towards when it was just coming into COVID, actually. So the break come at a good time, really. But then obviously Nathan come in and then played every game then, and that could have easily, this is what I'm saying, that could have easily derailed the sort of Luton trajectory if we got relegated that year. It's such a tough league then to get back out of, to get back into the Championship. But Nathan come in and we sort of touched on it as well, just instilled that belief. That's the one real key word I'd say it is, really, that belief. And we were playing against, on paper, big teams like the Swanseas, the Readings, and teams like that you think, cool, like these are big teams, but when you get onto the pitch, it's like 11v11. You look around and everyone else has got that belief as well, and you end up, it's so, what it can do to you as a player and as a team, and when you're fighting for your life down there, and then we end up staying up pretty easily in the end. But I think just took each game as it come and got the results we needed to, and did the job that was needed to be done.
And then we had a season of just kind of nice mid-table, but progression, wasn't it?
Yeah, finding your feet, and you look at the trajectory and, all right, you've gone from finishing 19th or whatever it was, but then you're finishing like top half. Yeah. So, all right, you're not gonna, well, maybe, I don't know, but it was a progression again, and obviously it was COVID, there was no fans, it was an interesting season all in all. But again, the squad stepped up again and had that experience from the following year, and Nathan took us on again then to sort of finish where we did, and then did it again the following season.
And into the playoffs as well.
Yeah.
Championship playoffs. I mean, even as a fan, you couldn't believe that, Luton Town were going to be in the Championship playoffs. And Huddersfield over 2 legs. It just couldn't get over that line, could we, in that second leg?
No, I think that season sort of, we wanted progression again, and obviously finishing top half, it's like, right, what is the progression? What's going to be? Can we get the playoffs? Yeah. So we had that. It's weird, like you have these meetings at the start of the year, and you think, I think as players, you think, oh yeah, we're going to put this way. Do you believe, like, it's like easy to sort of say them things, but it was like a subconscious thing. It's like, right, this is what we're pushing for, and we were going away to teams winning 1-0. Yeah. We were doing like 1-0 at home, and it was like, oh, it's just a real good. You keep clean sheets, you win games. You know what I mean? It's a recipe for success, and that's what we were doing. But the ironic thing is, Huddersfield were doing the same thing that year. So when we knew we were playing Huddersfield, I think we knew we sort of had a chance. We thought we were the better team, but they were just as good as what we were doing. We might have been a better team, like playing wise and that, but they had experience, and it was. But again, like, this is the thing, that experience of losing in the playoffs, it stays with you. Yeah. I mean, I remember looking around that dressing room, everyone was just sort of real gutted. Like, they were close mates as well, and I'm seeing them in like tears. So them sort of things stay with you, and obviously the following year speaks for itself, really. But does that sort of but heartbreak sort of side, like we had in League Two against Blackpool, does that sort of propel you next season, and it gives you that little bit more sort of belief, knowing you've been there, but there was, well, the experience of being there and knowing you can be there, and thinking, right, Luton, always, well, the years I was there, it was always progression. And obviously Nathan, that was one of his best traits. I think, was always wanted to everything wanted to be an improvement, whether it be in training, in games, just around. He wanted to, how can you improve, and I think as a club, that's what it really sort of brought into it as well. And finishing 6th in the playoffs and losing, what's your next? Where do you want to go next year? Do you want to do that again? No, we want to, worst case, get to playoffs and win, which is what happened. Kenilworth Road itself speaks for itself. I speak to pros, I speak to ex-players that I've played against, and the first thing I say is, God, your place. I hated going to your place. I knew I was going to go and take a penalty. I knew the way I was going to go. I just don't want to accept this as bad as what he actually is, and you just think you're superhuman and you can push things to try and get back as quick as you can. I can't thank everyone enough, the players I played with, the coaches, the board, and of course the fans.
Earlier on we touched on how you said there's always just been a good group at the club, and I'm sure you've made, well, just listed off how many people you remember from your time here, but
I ain't got enough hands.
A lot of mates.
Hands to, yeah, I mean, we touched on earlier, there's been so many good groups, and then within that I just had like amazing sort of friends, really, colleagues that have not only sort of impacted my time at Luton, but outside of Luton as well, outside of football. You can sort of meet up from, go out, have a drink, go for a coffee, been on holiday with them, with our partners and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, it's just really privileged, really. But it's been so many, it's just like a continuous cycle. Like we just said, it was like, well, but yeah. Yeah, so it's just lucky.
And couple of characters in your time?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few obvious ones. Yeah. Over the years.
Any names? Pell?
Yeah, Pell's, he just, everyone just loves Pell. I don't know why, because he gives everyone so much stick, but I mean, I'm used to it, so I like watching him from afar. I've obviously known Pell for a long time, and stay in touch with a lot of lads that are left, like Harry Cornick, like James Bree, Lloyd Jones, even like Izzy Brown, Colo. Hilts, big character. Like Hilts and Bez were tight, and then I don't know, you got like other lads like JJ, Jack Stacey. Just everyone was just so together, but everyone bought into the group as well. So you bring lads in, and then they'd buy in, and that was. At the time, you're just enjoying it, but when I look back now, it's just like I can see why this has gone so well. Yeah. Because just good mates outside of football as well as in football.
Well, let's talk about the season we reached the Championship playoff final, because what a year that was. Yeah,
it was. In the end, it was. Well, what can you say about it, really? I think we sort of touched on it coming off the back of the playoff defeat, and you sit down with sort of the board and say, right, aspirations. You try and think of how do you want this season to go, and what do we want to do? And obviously, at the forefront of everyone's mind was to get promoted to the Premier League. Such a big thing. And then the seasons sort of started, and we knew we were a better team. We brought in players that could sort of try and take us to that next level, for sure, without losing that sort of robustness and sort of the sort of Luton sort of way we had about us, and making it hard for teams. And it sort of it didn't start well that season. Right? We couldn't get a win, and we were. It was almost like it was a hangover from the year before. But then we went to Swansea and we won. But in that game, it was like, wow, right, okay, this is what we're about. And we had we've already touched on, we had forward players that could get us goals, change games, and in a split moment, as long as we kept solid, kept a clean sheet. And then it sort of progressed from there. We went to Cardiff away 1. We were picking up wins on the road, started to pick up wins at home as well. And then it was like, right, okay, a bit of like deja vu with it. So obviously, Premier League come calling for Nath, and we were like, no, you won't do it. Like, it won't happen. Maybe like we're on a good path again, but we weren't up there as well. Like, if we were probably up there, we might have chose differently. But when a Premier League club comes calling, it was on the table for him. Obviously left, and I think this time the club were a bit more sort of prepared. I think they knew that Nathan was he was in demand. After the sort of success we've had the year before and what he'd done with the club. So I think the club were a bit more prepared this time with the replacement, and that's when Rob come in. And I remember the first meeting was around Christmas time. He'd come in and had a meeting, and the first slide said, well, the Christmas do still on. So straight away you sort of had the lads almost within the first minute. It was like, right, okay, like they're all of a sudden relaxed because the new manager comes in, everyone wants to impress, and everyone's like, oh, nice to meet you, blah, blah, but it just made it instantly relaxed. And then there was the buy-in was instant. Didn't really feel probably tweak too much, made us a little bit more, I think maybe in possession, gave us a little bit more on the ball, a bit more time on the ball and stuff like that. But in terms of that sort of winning mentality we had, 1-0s and stuff, making it hard for teams, winning ugly, if you want to say, to keep us in the position we were and sort of progress into the playoffs. Again, that stayed, and there were times probably where we thought, can we nick automatic here? Can we? We beat Sheffield United away, and it was like, whoa, hold a minute, can we catch them? Like, that would have been unreal. But everyone always says if you're going to get promoted, the way to do it is through the playoffs. And
100%.
Listen, it was the whole moment itself. We can speak for ages. I can understand why people say that now. It was unreal. We're just so happy for everyone at the club and the staff and the fans. You look back at it now, I think when you were in that moment, it's unbelievable. Like, you work so hard, and the joy, the success and everything else that comes with that day. But when you actually look back at that day, that's when you get a real sense of pride. You get a sense of pride, but then you look at the fans as well and how happy they are, and then them fans, they'll be telling their sons, and then they'll tell it's just them big moments stay with you for ages. And I think it's just a day that everyone associated with Luton will never forget.
So the playoff final day comes along, and I know you touched about how you felt after it briefly there, but before, in the build-up, what was the feeling around the group?
You know what? I mean, I can only speak for myself, but from what I was seeing, we had quite an experienced squad at the time. Like, you had Luke Freeman, Henry Lansbury, Sonny Bradley, and they were sort of around the squad as well. Like myself, Bez. You had players there that it was weird. Like, you come for like dinner and everyone's like night before the game, and everyone's having it weren't a bad thing, but I'm looking around thinking, lads, this is like, it didn't feel like a massive game in that side. It's not in a bad way, but everyone was quite relaxed, having a good laugh, joke. There wasn't too much, didn't sense too much like nervous and like anticipation or anything like that. It wasn't that too much of that going on. And then you had like breakfast and pre-match, and then the next morning it was still quite chilled, and it just kept everyone, you know what I mean, at a level. And I could tell the lads were confident. You could see everyone was zoned in, and I mean, we started the game really well, and but obviously what happened with Locks was awful, but credit to the lads that were on the pitch at the time, because something like that can derail a game. I can remember going back to when against Colchester, when Bez had a terrible injury and he had it literally right in front of me, and I was like, it just shook us, and we ended up losing the game like 3-0. And that's the problem with football, it's so unforgiving. Like, that's happened, but you still got to go and play a game. And the lads, I thought they were unreal watching it first half. And like any game of football, both teams are going to have their moments, and it just went from there.
The disallowed goal in extra time as well. I know if Joe Taylor squares that to Colton, it counts, doesn't it, because of the handball rule. But at that stage, what was your reaction to that goal? Because we've spoken this with Rob, and he's down the touchline. What
I mean, it was weird because he's just been on the pitch for a little while, and he's done that, and so I was thinking nothing looked wrong from my point of view there. But I can remember celebrating and going over the top. Everyone was going over the top. I remember Gabe come off with cramp and he sprinted back over, and it was like Gaffer's down the touchline. But I can remember sort of looking at Joe, and he looked happy, but he was I could tell he was a bit concerned at the time. So what's gone on here? And I'm thinking, no, there's not offside there. There's nothing wrong with it. I just thought, I've done it. Now we just need to try and shut up shop and try and win the game 2-1.
Yeah.
As soon as it went VAR, it was like, oh God, here we go, what's happened? And then you see it, the rule's the rule, and that's why it's there. But like, if you squared it to cut on it, that's all makes a mockery of it as well.
Exactly,
What's the relevance? You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just that to sort of get it off our mind. But yeah, it's just one of those things.
And that's when you play a big role in the penalty shootout, and the first thing is winning the coin toss to have it in front of our fans.
I think if it went to pens like it did, we did so much work on penalties, not just practicing the penalties, but the whole thing. And I spoke to a lot of people about what sort of happened, but it was like a military operation really. We had it all planned out in terms of who'd come onto the pitch and speak to the lads, keeping it very sort of the 11 plus just Rob and the coaches, and the penalty order was already done. Standing close to the dugout, get that line quickly there and push Cov to the other side, make them feel a bit isolated. Every time we scored a pen, step forward so they could see us and the goal, and we'd just literally see the goal.
Wow, yeah.
So those sort of things were in our hands. We knew that was what we were going to do. So you think just working on pens is literally just go and have a practice. It's not. It's the other things. So those things we knew, and I think that gave the lads, well, I speak for myself, and when I spoke to the other boys that took the pens at the time, they all felt super confident. They knew what way they were going to go, but it was all controlled. It was such a controlled environment, and it kept the emotions sort of out of it, although it was really hard. And then, listen, the pens were just unreal. Yeah, all of them were so good.
You say it was like a military operation.
Yeah, it was.
How, obviously, a flip of a coin, it's lucky,
no, that's
how
obviously that's
important though is it?
I think
I
think it's massive. Obviously, that is the only variable that you can't control. To get that, I always think it's. But when I watch games of football, it will no doubt happen now in the Euros as well. But it's a bit different at club football where you got split ends at Wembley. To get it in front of your own fans is just gives you that subconsciously that lift, but I think it also does the flip to the other team, but sort of it's harder for them, for sure. So to have won that, and then obviously to have gone first was a big thing for us. Just puts a little bit more pressure on them.
I love the cheer as well when you see it and you walk and you hands in the air and you hear the roar from the 40,000 Luton fans.
Because they'd have been, all them fans have been thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
They want it. We want it in front of us. So I knew if we'd won it, I just wanted to make it clear that it was coming that way, and we were going to have it at our end. Even if we went first or second, I think the main thing was to get it at our end. And then I can't speak highly of obviously Carlton, Joe, Marv, Bez, Clicks. Just their pens were so good. And the worst thing is each pen goes in, you sort of knew it was coming, and that little bit of pressure adds on to the next person. It's weird, you look at the celebrations, it's like, it's cheering, but is it more like a bit of relief as well? Just like, yes. But someone had to miss. I say, it's a horrible way to lose. I felt like you zoom out now and you feel bad for the lad that missed, but what way to do it. Family were in the stands. My poor nan and granddad were making sure they were alive after the game.
Well, especially because you took the final one we scored, didn't you?
Yeah. It's amazing really, because I had like all my mates were there, my family. Luckily someone videoed like my family. You just never see that sort of emotion. It's not a regular everyday emotion you see in people. I felt okay going up and taking it.
I was going to say, just talk to me about that feeling.
You know, because all the pens were so good, I knew when, I don't know if it was Clicker or Bez who took it last, when they scored, I sort of knew that the Cov player was going to score. Fair play to him, he tucked it away unbelievably well. So I was already in my mind, I knew I was going to go and take a penalty. I knew the way I was going to go. I mean, I spoke to Shazy, we all spoke to the keepers building up. I said, look, I'm left-footed defender. What do you think? He said, well, I always assume you're going to whip it to the other side. I said, okay, I'll work on the other side. yeah, he just, if he'd saved it, it would have been, you know what I mean, it wouldn't be where we were, but it's one of those things I've cherished, and I'm so happy for everyone at the club, all the work they put in, the players on the day as well were amazing. Everyone associated with the club, it was people there just full of emotion, like tears, like grown men just like crying. It's just, that's what it does to your football. And now we're a year past that now, and you look back at the day and it almost makes you feel even more pride about it. It was special.
Special celebrations into the night as well?
Don't really remember much, to be honest. We just went back to the hotel we stayed, and I think all the family, friends come, and players, all the board, all the staff, ex-players. I remember Hilts was in there.
He loves it now, doesn't he?
Beer, what a guy. Still, he was there. Just good to see all them people associated with the club over the years, and just, it was almost like, but we wouldn't be there without everyone that had sort of put their sort of stamp on seasons before, and put the work in, the ex-managers, the ex-players, the ex-staff. And that is really, that promotion to the Premier League is a sort of a pinnacle of English club football. It's what every club wants. When I joined Luton, I think Premier League was within my grasp, and obviously I signed a 3-year deal. It was like, we're gonna have to go bang, bang, bang. It doesn't happen. But we did it in a 5-year or 6-year span, sort of thing. That so listen, it's just, they're filled with pride, really.
Look, let's talk about last season, because it didn't end the way any of us wanted it to, but what a journey it was.
I say you go from winning the final and then you enjoy it, and then there's like a realisation that, like when, I think the big thing for me was like when the fixtures come out. I think a lot of people are away and the fixtures come out, and you look at them and you think, oh yeah, no, it's actually us. And you look at the way the Premier League, and you had like Man City, Liverpool, Luton. It's like, you're in with the big boys there. But yeah, no, it's a shame really the way it ended, because I think throughout the year, I speak for the majority of all of the boys and everyone there, there was definitely a time, and there was a good level of confidence that we can withstand this league. But no, it wasn't to be.
And I'm gutted you didn't get on the pitch, and I'm sure you are as well, because the injuries that took their toll, and Bockham away to start with in the pre-season friendly, you've done your ankle.
Yeah, it was a bad one. Like, me and Click had the exact same injury. We sort of touched on it already, and it wasn't a good one. And it just never really recovered from that. Really picked up another serious hamstring injury, and the Premier League is so unforgiving. The levels so high. You have to literally be at 100%. Well, we did definitely as a team coming into the league. We haven't got the luxury of being able to be off your game and pick up points. So like this is, and then we've sort of touched on it as well. Never get too high, never get too low. And I've gone from the playoff final win to struggling this season with an injuries. And I wasn't nice. So I wanted to get on the pitch. I wanted to have that moment more with the boys and for myself and everyone else. And it just wasn't to be, which is a shame.
How did you cope with that injury in terms of maybe knowing that your season had finished and that you weren't going to get?
Yeah, listen, it was tough. There's almost when you get an injury, there's not a naivety to it, but you don't want to accept this as bad as what it actually is, and you just think you're superhuman and you can push things to try and get back as quick as you can. And I've always tried to do that. I've always tried to push things to the limit, and sometimes your body just says no. And I mean, it's just that sort of second injury really knocked me down a bit in terms of the realisation sort of set in that maybe it's not going to be able to get onto the pitch. And yeah, it was just a horrible sort of moment, but it happens, and it was just bad luck. And I was thinking, oh, okay, you try and deal with it the best way. And we had such a, I still managed to come in and sort of see what the lads were doing. I was trying to push for the boys to do it, because listen, all right, I weren't playing, but you still want your teammates to do well and stay in the league. And it didn't happen, so it was okay. But from a personal point of view, it was like, I wish I could have sort of come on and helped, because there was times when throughout the season we had some bad injuries. I think if we had a fully fit squad, things may have been different.
I guess you look back though, them years you've been here, and like we said at the start of this interview, when you did that first interview, to even say you have got to the Premier League with Luton Town, I've already said it already. I think the Championship was always the objective to get there. We always sort of went about having saying we've got a Championship mentality, we've got Championship standards, and then we moved to the Brace. It was like, right, okay, the training grounds now stepped up. But then once we got to the Championship, it was like, well, this isn't going to stop. We need to, you know what I mean? We stayed in the Championship. Now, can we, you know what I mean? But because it happens over the whole season, when you actually zoom out and look back, and that progression was always there. So not many teams, if ever, will do what we've done. I take a lot of pride in that as well. And doing it with people that were just really good people you'd never met. I wouldn't never have met these people if it weren't for Luton Town and the club and everything. So yeah, it's just, I no doubt look back at my time at Luton fondly, as anyone would. But even more so because of that. So yeah, no, it's been some journey. And in years at the club, turned into a bit of a prolific goal scoring centre half, didn't you?
Yeah, I had a little spell where I just couldn't stop scoring. Not sure really what happened. Turned into I knew I could. It was a bit of a set piece threat, but just kept going in for me, and had 6 months as having a little feeling of what a striker feels on 3 p.m. on a Saturday. Listen, as a defender, you score goals is a bonus. When I kept scoring, I was getting stick and plaudits from teammates. Listen, it was good. I don't know.
Got a favourite?
Definitely probably Oxford away. Yeah. Just purely the game itself, and it wasn't not every game's a must-win game, but to win away like that, again with the fans there, and it literally being the last minute of the game. It was a bit of a feisty game as well. It was a bit, it was a bit of needle in the game. It was good.
Had the one disallowed before as well.
Yeah.
I watched that back the other day.
Yeah.
I still don't know what it was disallowed for.
No, I don't either.
Because it weren't offside.
No, there might have been a foul. Someone else might have fouled. I don't know. They just give anything these days. It's just, that probably added to it as well. Yeah. Because I think that's why we all went a bit mad. But that was a good one.
There's that iconic pic of you in front of the away end as well, arms out in the white shirt.
Yeah, the lads, there's a few. Matty Pearson, Sonny, JJ, it was a good picture. Yeah, it was a good one. Well, although, we've had a few away from home. But just again, just buzzing, really, the whole squad, everyone. When you win a game with Luton, it was the best thing ever. The bus was bouncing on the way home, and it didn't matter if you was in Carlisle or down at Plymouth. You just get on the bus, and it was so good.
And I guess, mate, to end, a message to the fans, like the fans that have supported you and through all these years that you've had at the club, just a word on them.
I put a message out on social media, actually, just touching with the fans and saying, like, all right, we look back and it's been such a great journey, but there has been tough times, There's been hard games, we've gone away from home, or we've lost heavily, and things haven't gone our way. But I think especially this year has sort of really showed that the fans, they've never turned. You know what I mean? We've never had they've always stuck with the team, they've always stuck with the players, they've always clapped us off no matter the result, because they can see they've got a group of players there that just were putting their all in. All right, listen, you're going to lose football matches, it happens, but there was that connection of honesty between the players and the fans, I think, and that's such a big thing. We were going away from home, and you sort of you're doing it for your teammate and yourself, but you're doing it for the away, you're doing it for that clap at the end of the game. You're going up to the away fans, and it just gives you that little bit. And I can't speak highly, and Kenilworth Road itself speaks for itself. I speak to pros, I speak to ex-players that I've played against, and the first thing I say is, God, your place.
Really, yeah.
Hated going to your place. So such a hard. Yeah, it's hard, but it's hard because that's what the fans were made. They made it that way, and that tight-knit, and they bought into what we wanted. They bought into the way we were doing things, and that hostile sort of atmosphere. And that's the best thing I can say, is the connection between the fans and the players, especially from my point of view, is the best. It is, well, best in England. You look at some of the top teams in England, and they speak about their fan bases, but they can get toxic. There's not. I can't remember many times when the Luton fan base has turned on the team, and I think that's just a credit to the club. I think it's credit to the fans. I think it's credit to the players for giving the fans those sort of moments, and I think this year especially has epitomised that.
Oh mate, what a journey it's been for you! Like unreal. 8-9 years, and
really, really good, mate.
It's been really brilliant to say goodbye to you properly today. And
no, thanks, mate. No, I appreciate it.
Best of luck for the future, mate.
No, thank you. Thanks for your time. It's been a pleasure. Just, I say, it's 9 years of my life that I'll never forget, with moments that are just, as a player, you can only dream of. So, listen, I can't thank everyone enough. The players I played with, the coaches, the board, and of course the fans. So I've no doubt Luton will carry on striving, and hopefully next year they can get back in the Premier League.